rumors come. Trump, well, had his name erased from the Epstein files. Is that a surprise to anybody that Trump had his name erased from the Epstein files? Here it is.
What you're going to see hopefully tomorrow is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names. Everything's going to come out to the public. The public has a right to know. Americans have a right to know.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children.
And then all of a sudden, none of that existed. There was no list, and Donald Trump said he had a list of hedge fund guys. So there's a list again, just a different kind of list. Okay, let's try to figure this out. Put it up full mass. Rumors surfaced that Trump has had his name erased from the Epstein files. Where is President Donald Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi? She seems to have disappeared now amid the ongoing fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Bondi counseled a speech on July 23rd at a prominent anti-trafficking summit. Good idea, Bondi. And CPAC summit against human trafficking in Washington. She canceled that too, citing a recently torn cornea, which obviously has something to do with speaking, because I thought it had something to do with something else. But she hasn't been seen publicly since because of her cornea. News report surfaced this month alleging Bondi had told Trump twice in May that his name was in fact in the Epstein files and that it was part of her decision to close the case because Trump is in the files. Let me say this before I continue. You don't really need to know that his name is in the file. We know his name is there. The fact that he was friends with this guy for 20 years should really be enough. That should be enough. But yes, obviously his name is in the files. Just 90 minutes before the Wall Street Journal released breaking news alleging Bondi informed Trump he appeared in the files. Acting Assistant Attorney General read a statement from Bondi announcing her absence from the CPAC event. Okay? Quote, "I'm sorry to miss all of my CPAC friends. Unfortunately, I am recovering from a recently torn cornea, which is preventing me from being with you. I truly wish I was able to join you and support all of the work being done on this critical issue. The timing could not have been worse." Needless to say, social media is having a field day. Yeah. People on the Epstein list, let's see who this really is. Oops, there is no list now. Now, speculation on social media suggesting Bondi may have even erased Trump's name on the Epstein flight logs. The convicted pedophile had private planes, often called Lolita Express. He used to transport the rich and the famous to his various properties in New Mexico, the Caribbean, and France. A few of the notable high-profile passengers include former President Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, actor Kevin Spacey, supermodel Naomi Campbell, and of course, his woman at the time, Miss Maxwell. I say that just to clear up this misconception that they had some kind of affiliation. No, that was his woman, basically his wife. Okay. Understand who she was to him. Put it up full mass. Speaking of Maxwell, the family of Jeffrey Epstein, victim, the Virginia Roberts Guthrie, is urging President Donald Trump not to pardon the notorious longtime partner, saying she is a monster who deserves to rot in prison. Well, guess what? A jury of her peers agrees. They agree with you. The judge agrees. The prosecution at the time agrees. Hell, If you listen to Maxwell, she agreed. Did you hear what she said about bringing a level of reconciliation somehow or peace to those who are victims? She agrees she needs to be in prison. Nobody's in disagreement except Trump. Maxwell is a monster. Quote, Maxwell is a monster who deserves to rot in prison for the rest of her life. End quote. Family members of Sky and Amanda Roberts and Danny and Lynette Wilson said in a statement to the BBC, the family asks that Trump, quote, never consider giving Maxwell any leniency, adding that she, quote, must remain in prison. Anything less will go down in history as being one of the highest travesties of justice. Polling shows Maxwell pardon would be unpopular. So a new poll from The Economist and YouGov revealed that the suggestion President Trump might pardon Maxwell, the former girlfriend and accomplice of deceased convicted sexual predator Jeffrey Epstein, is extraordinarily unpopular, even with his base. One number to watch as the weeks roll on is how many Republicans maintain their belief. This is a big thing to watch. Why? Because this is what Trump is watching. Their belief that Trump wasn't involved. Right now, 11% of Republicans said yes, he was involved. 68% say no. 21% are unsure at this moment. Only getting 68% may spell trouble for Trump, as he has enjoyed unwavering support from Republicans on many other issues, often getting 90% approval or more. Even stronger bipartisan opposition comes when poll respondents were asked about Trump potentially pardoning Maxwell. Overall, only 4% of Americans were in favor of a pardon of the convicted sex trafficker. 64% are opposed. 32% are unsure. The single-digit support for a pardon of Maxwell carried across all partisan groups. Among both the Democrats and Republicans, only 5% supported a pardon, and only 3% of independents were in favor of this. Strong majorities from all parties were opposed. 59% of Republicans, 75% of Democrats, 60% of independents. Even in the unlikely event Trump could somehow win over all of the not sure respondents, 37% of Republicans, 20% of Democrats, and 37% of independents, he'd still be underwater across the board. It is interesting. The man that you believed would bring you the most transparent government. So you decided to look away from all of his other insanity. You decided to not hold him accountable to his bigotry, racism, adverse policies as it relates to military, school teachers, everyday workers, and sometimes even you, because you thought he was going to bring you this level of transparency. And come to find out, he may have set this whole thing up to cover his own ass. It was Epstein who was arrested under the Trump administration. But prior to that arrest, it was Epstein who gave an interview about Trump and him. And all of a sudden, when Epstein comes back to the United States, he goes to jail. And then all of a sudden, he died. It's controversial. But Trump is in power. Then all of a sudden, Trump runs for office again after losing. He runs for office again. He gets in. He then appoints every person at the top levels of government who are anti-Epstein people. These are people that you trust. And then he leverages them to tell you, Epstein who? There's no Epstein file. There's no Epstein controversy. It's all made up by the Democrats. Yeah, Obama, Biden, Comey. You see, it may have almost worked if Trump had the ability to coordinate better. So he had the most credible individuals in the Epstein declassification, release the documents camp tell you that there was nothing to see. And I would give some credit to MAGA here. MAGA, Trump underestimated you. To those who have come out with bold proclamations against Trump, I'm actually proud of you for doing so. At least it shows you have a level of belief that's authentic somewhere inside of you. All right, dear brother, thoughts here.
I mean, I think we figured out something, which is that apparently you can get a torn cornea from consistently turning a blind eye.
That's right. There you go.
Is doing. So I'm no scientist, but I think we can get that published if we try really hard. Yeah, this entire story just continues to be. I mean, if I had popcorn, I would be eating it right now. I'm incredibly disappointed to hear that it's only 11% of Republicans that think that he is in these files, when it just sort of, if it walks like a Trump and talks like a Trump, he's probably going to be on that list. In my mind, this is sort of my own sick desire here, but I kind of would love to see, not really, but just a little. I'd be interested to see what it would look like if he actually did pardon Maxwell, because like you were saying here, I do think MAGA has had a point, and I do think that they are a group, especially the sincere ones, who could actually hold his feet to the fire in this instance. Because it's clearly not going to be his administration. They're going to continue to do his whims. The fact that people look to people like Bondi or whoever further down the line instead of him is just infuriating, because it's like, look, this guy's in charge. You can't have it both ways. He can't be the master of every other area except when it's one that makes him look bad, and then all of a sudden it's everyone else under him. So hopefully MAGA can actually keep this going. I hope he doesn't pardon Maxwell, but if he does, it might actually tip the scales in some particular direction.
Yeah, the irony of it all, you send the guy there. MAGA says, go there and expose this pedophilia network. And he goes there and literally tanks the case, drops it, and then pardons the one who's actually convicted of it. It would be insane, but possible.